Hi, this is Bart Sharp from Therapy for the Body, Mind, and Soul at www.bartsharp.com. Today I want to talk about ghosts. Out here on this beautiful sunny day, there's no ghost around. The things that you may see flitting behind me are actually butterflies. So I just thought it might be an interesting match. But ghosts do exist. I feel them all the time around different houses, sometimes on people, various considerations. And I just wanted to talk about sort of the anatomy or the dynamics of ghosts. You know, ghosts often, why they are here, in summation, most of them are lost. They are, some don't even know that they're dead. Some are so scared of moving on that they stick around, you know, or they really believe that they have to stay for somebody else. You know, various considerations, but eventually they come to the consideration that they don't know what they're doing. As a ghost dies, or a person dies, they are quite aware of who they were, and they are making a transition from an embodied person to something that is more etherical. And in that process, you know, they once a person dies, generally they tie loose ends up, in some way say goodbye, but you know, eventually coming to the recognition that it's time to move on, and they move on and start that transition to something else. And some people or some spirits do not do that transition. They basically decide to stay at some level. Some because they're scared to move on, they're afraid of what's going to happen. Some because they're really tied into something. And some, the shock of dying, maybe they're in a car accident or were dismembered, they do not realize that they're dead. So there's various reasons. One of my favorite stories about this is there's always stories about Abraham Lincoln roaming the White House and helping other presidents move on, or that seems to be the intent of his encouragement. But of course, what happened to Abraham was that he was shot in the head, and you know, the shock and trauma that maybe had brought him to a non-realization that he wasn't dead. So thus he wanders the White House. And what was Abraham Lincoln doing, or his whole value of being a president was leading others on. And that's what he did. And so that's kind of what he was stuck into. And as ghosts go beyond their death, or their physical death, their reality kind of narrows. In other words, the things that they know, the things that they're aware of, begin to narrow down to a few things. And that is why we will have ghosts in a house that only do a few different behaviors, because those are the last memories that they have active in them. For example, I just did a house clearing on a place that there was a man that really felt like it was his house, and he was a previous owner, as we found out by asking the spirit questions and getting information about the house. Now, of course, this house had lots of children in it, and this really angered the ghost because it just felt like he did not like children. So the ghost was having a lot of chaos and things there, and so helping this ghost move on really served the children and the house, because the ghost was literally influencing people to become angry because he was angry, and he was bringing that intention out there. And that's how a ghost can influence us, is by almost putting an energetic thought in our head. It's an energetic stimulus that leads us to thoughts from our own experience. This ghost was all about being angry, so that's what he led on. Maybe Abraham Lincoln would try to lead on of security and reassurance. I'm not for sure. I've never been president, nor have I been in the White House to actually know. But that is kind of the nature of ghosts and why they stick around. And if you have a ghost that is in fear of something, that's what they're going to project, and that's what they're going to keep living by and bringing out. So I'm Bart Sharp from bartsharp.com, Therapy for the Body, Mind, and Soul. I also do entity ghost clearings from homes and off people, possessions, that type of stuff. It's always entertaining, always good stuff, and it really gives people a lot of benefits. And if you have an entity or a ghost and you know it, there's not much else you can do except get it cleared. That is, if you want to let it go. There's not much else you can do about it. So anyway, I wish you the best, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.